It's been a long time since I've done this, but we decided to do a video update for our first year as well as a written update. So if you don't want to read all that stuff, you can listen to me tell you about it. I have notes so that hopefully I don't rabbit trail too much because I tend to be a rabbit trailer. So, we came down on May 22nd of 2022. So May 22nd, it will have been a year that we have officially been working here on the Outer Banks to try and start One Church. Of course, we started praying and working from Montana way before that, and then KJ's mom's. We thought after a year we'd give you an update. In the church planning world, they talk a lot about measurables, and measurables are kind of so you can kind of see where you're growing, how it's going. In the church world, a lot of people talk, at least used to when we had an established church, about numbers, how many people are coming, how many baptisms are happening, what that looks like. And that's really hard and sometimes not fair as a measure of growth for a church, especially a church plant in pre-launch stage that's not having meetings. So we thought a better measurable or measure of our growth here at One Church is prayers, prayer requests we've asked for, things we've asked for, goals we've set, and how those have been achieved. And so I'm just going to share a few of those for you. Our first prayer request was for partnerships, but we prayed for partners to help us with the church plan. And there's lots of things that partners do. You guys have heard us talk about that a lot. But God has provided the right partners at just the right time. I know when we first started this journey, it seemed huge and like we were never going to get it done. And how are we going to make this work? And God has just brought the right people alongside us for the right periods of time. Some are no longer walking beside us. Some came along later in the journey, but everybody was right where we needed them to be when we needed them to be there. And it's been a blessing to watch that and see how God has worked through us, through you. We prayed for people here that were open to a church plant, and God provided that in a mighty way. He provided Miss Betsy, who let us use her internet to upload vlogs, and we grew a friendship and went and had coffee with her often. And she actually provided our winter rental. That was just a huge blessing. And then Miss Stephanie, who was our waitress at Nino's, that you know, who's like another grandmother to my children. We just have a really close friendship. We really enjoyed this ball season, sitting together watching the boys play ball. And then the Crumbs, and there are other people too, but the Crumbs have just been good friends of ours, and they are joining our launch team. I guess they have joined. They're officially along for the ride. They are part of One Church, and they are part of helping make decisions of what the church will look like, and they helped buy the supplies for the busy box and pick those out, and Barry leads worship sometimes, and he and KJ bat ideas off of each other, and Adrian and I bat ideas off of each other, and so they are just along for the ride. And that's an exciting blessing, because we really prayed that God would help us to grow our core team out of people here on the island, and he has provided that. So we prayed about our NAM endorsement. We wanted to be endorsed missionaries with the North American Mission Board and all that comes with that. The biggest thing is that they evaluate you. They see where you are. They're people who are experienced in church planning that can come alongside you, can say these are areas where you might need more help, or areas where you're reared and ready to go. And that assessment was a little stressful, but it was comforting knowing that other people are going through the same things and just as lost as you are, because church planning is just an unknown, and it's different everywhere. Like, it's hard to be prepared for it. And God just really went above and beyond in this area. So when we came in, and we didn't have any idea that this was going to happen, but God's timing is perfect, North Carolina was moving into the Send NC partnership with NAM. And so with that, when we got endorsed, came all kinds of extra benefits to us. We got in on a year of health insurance that's covered for our family. We got Tithely, so that came with a website and online giving and text giving. And there is an app that we have. I don't know if anybody wants it, but I can help you download it if it's something you're interested in. But all of those are at no cost to us for the first year. And that has really been super helpful and was way above and beyond. So we are officially NAM endorsed, and we have health insurance, which is great and wonderful. And so God has just showed off a little in that area. Another prayer that's been on our heart from the beginning was housing. And it's just been amazing to watch God work in that area because it seemed impossible. When we were in Montana and we came down that February and we looked for housing, and people just kind of were like, you can't do it. Like, it's just not going to happen. And then we had the RV, and even when you had the RV, there was no place to park it. And we had to stay in national park campgrounds and come and go and follow the rules. But that was an experience. And we got to meet some awesome people. And it encouraged us to get out and about and be out of our comfort zone. And then, like, God just has perfect timing, because Miss Betsy had this winter rental we could stay in, and the RV broke down the last week we were supposed to stay in it. And then we were able to stay in winter housing. So the RV kept going long enough for us to be able to be down here. Then we went to our winter housing, and we were able to go straight from that winter rental to this long-term rental where I'm sitting outside talking to you right now. And we actually have a year-long lease on this place, and then it's month to month after that. But it's really nice. Like, I can see the ocean from where I'm sitting talking to you. So we get to listen to the ocean, and we can see the lighthouse. It's really foggy today, so I don't know that I can see it now. But we can see the lighthouse from the upstairs of our house. And so it's just a super blessing that we have housing, which everybody said was impossible. And several people have said to us, God must have brought you here. Like, finding housing is impossible. I don't know how you did that. And so that has just been a blessing. In March, we asked you to pray because we were launching a Bible study. We did officially launch our first one church sponsored Bible study. I do Bible study here at the house with a couple ladies, but that's just me and my friends. This is one church's official Bible study. We started it in Lots of Paws Barkery. It's a dog bakery, I guess. And Stephanie actually owned that business, and she allowed us to meet there for the first month. But then some stuff happened. Life on Hatteras Island is always changing, especially with real estate. And so she had to give up that premises, and we weren't able to meet there anymore. So now we have moved to a park. But that Bible study, the very first Bible study we had, a family that we had not had contact with at all showed up, a couple. And they have been wonderful and supportive and encouraging, and they've had us to their house, and they have just come every time they can since then, and moved with us to the park. And this last week when we had our Bible study in the park, we had one more kid than adults, but there were 4 families, including KJ and I, that came. And so that's just wonderful and encouraging, getting to share God's word with people. And so we just pray that continues to grow. One of our personal goals as a family was that the boys would acclimate to life here. It's very different than Montana. That's all they've known their whole lives. And Elijah joined a little league team and loved it. He was a hammerhead. And it was a great way for them to meet people and for us to meet people as we went and watched the games and cheered them on. And it was just a lot of fun. That was not something they would get to experience in Jordan. Jordan doesn't have Little League. They just don't have the people. And so that was a ton of fun. And Jeremiah's my shell hunter. He likes to go on the beach and look for shells. He can tell you anything about any kind of shell that you could find here on Hatteras Island. And if there's one to be found, he will find it. He has found a great white tooth, which the Crumbs told us was the find of a lifetime here. And so he really enjoys that. He enjoys the beach life. And so I feel like they have acclimated, and that is an answer to prayer. So those are just a few of the things that we had laid out as goals or prayer requests, and maybe some past emails and updates that I sent out, newsletters. But to us, those are measurables. Those are ways to see things that we asked of God that were answered, ways that the church is starting to take shape and take form. And it's just really exciting to see what God is going to do. So there are a few requests we have moving forward that we wanted to share with you. One of those being that we need a place to meet. So right now we're meeting in the Kinnikee Village Park. Kinnikee is Avon. It used to be Kinnikee before the post office changed the name. And so we're meeting in a park there, like a playground, and it's got a little picnic shelter. But like it's windy, and it was windy and cold even in May. And that's hard for some people. And so it would be really nice to have a building or a place to meet. We know that's a big ask in Avon. There's no community building. There's not a church in Avon. We really feel like God wants us to be in Avon. And so we're just asking for God to open doors and provide something, and for us to be patient, to wait on Him, to provide the right thing and not rush ahead into what we think is right. Another prayer request I have is a little selfish, I feel like, but then I guess it's not. Our boys have given up a lot for us to do ministry in Jordan and here. I don't think that they've had a bad life. I think they've had a really amazing life, and they've got to experience things that some kids never get to experience, and their life is an adventure, and they understand what we're doing, and they're all in for God. But Jeremiah was taking piano lessons in Jordan, and he really loved them, and the piano didn't belong to us, so we left it at the parsonage when we left, and which is good. We couldn't have brought it up the stairs of a beach house. It would have been awful, and the humidity here would kill it. But we haven't had the funds to be able to replace it maybe with an electric piano with weighted keys, something he could practice on. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get him one of those so that he could take lessons here and do that thing that he enjoys again. My prayer request for you guys would be just for God to provide that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe somebody has an old one in a closet. Maybe there's something so that he can have something he enjoys and worship the Lord through that. And so the last request is that you join us in just praying for patience. A lot in this journey I've heard KJ say, God's just telling me to wait. You want to rush ahead, and KJ's the kind of person that gets it done. But God is just telling us to wait and be patient, and it will happen in His time. And so growth here is slow, but there are lots of people that are talking to us and asking. And last night we went to a Nehemiah Crumbs ball game, and there was a gentleman that Barry introduced KJ to, and the guy said, "Oh, well, what are you about?" And KJ said, "One Church is about Jesus." And so people are starting to figure out who we are, and that we're about Jesus, and that we stick to the Bible, and that's what we're teaching. And so we just have to earn trust and prove that's who we are, and that that's what we're teaching and about. And so His plans are best. We don't want to get ahead of Him, but we also don't want to be slow. When He says go, we want to have the resources and the ability to go and do and be. And so we're just thankful to you for coming along with us on this journey. It has been a journey of ups and downs and good and bad, and we're just blessed by each one of you, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, you guys have sent cards and gift boxes and messages, and even the partner churches we've been to, there are individuals in those churches who send little things to my children, or cards, or somebody gave us a neat little thing to hang up in the camper. Those things are a blessing. They show us that you're praying for us, you're thinking about us, but more than anything, that you believe that our ministry is valid, and that's encouraging. Every day I see the need more and more here on this island for what we're doing, for what God's called us to, and we just thank you, because without you we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be allowed to do what God's called us to do. We would probably try and do it anyway, but it would be a lot harder. And so you have allowed us to follow our calling, and we are appreciative of that. And so we are excited to see what God's going to do next year. And I'll be able to update you and tell you more of the stuff He has done. So thank you.